Since now it's official, I mean, we're pretty excited about being in our fifth straight bowl game. I think that's a pretty big accomplishment since we're one of 27 schools in the country that have done that. I think there's only 2 schools in the state of California that have done that, us and Stanford. If you go to the non-Power 5 leagues, I'm guessing it's us and maybe 2 or 3 other guys that have done that if you go past the Power 5 conferences. So we're happy with our accomplishment. We're excited about staying home. We're excited about going to this bowl game. And I think the matchup makes it it's perfect for San Diego. Maybe you have loyalties to both teams, and maybe you only have loyalties to one. But since we're a Navy town, I'm sure that there's bragging rights involved. So we'll see how we do. But we're excited about being in the position we're in.
How excited are you to go on the recruiting trail and be able to bring up the fact that you and Stanford are the only 2 schools in California to make 5 straight bowl games? How big of a tool is that in the recruiting?
Yeah, I don't know how big it is because we said that last year since we were us and Stanford for the only California schools that have been to 4 straight bowl games. I don't know if that makes a difference or not. You would think continued success makes a difference in recruiting. So hopefully we can keep it going.
What do you like in particular about the matchup?
I think it gives this town something to rally around. And we're hoping, and we kind of expect that there'll be a good-sized crowd there. I don't care if there's a big crowd there. I don't care who they're cheering for. Just the energy in the stadium and all that kind of stuff makes it different, makes it special. Our team and I personally have great respect for the military academies because of what kind of guys they are. I don't know their coach real well, but him and I I think this is the 3rd or 4th time that we've gone against each other over the years, and him and his staff do a great job, and they're great guys. So the 2 teams, it makes it fun because the 2 teams will get along. There'll be some mutual respect there between the staffs and the teams. We'll bump into each other at different events, but it'll be a friendly kind of interaction, and the players like each other. They'll get along with each other, and then they'll try to beat their brains out on game day.
Rocky, what do you see their offense against 4 or 5 straight games over 40 points, win or lose? Is this as good a Navy offense as you've seen in a while?
Yeah, they're good on offense and I think they're pretty good on defense too. They're not as complicated on defense as some of the teams we've played, but they're fundamentally sound. It's the kind of kids they have. They play hard. They never back down. They never back up. They never give up. Their offense is more traditional wishbone, triple option offense than any we've played over the last 3 years. Air Force is not as traditional as they used to be. We play a triple option team in New Mexico, but it's out of the shotgun and out of I-back sets. This is truly, I mean, they run some other plays, but this is truly a wishbone triple option football team. And any team that's like that, you've heard me say this, you're never right on the board. On the grease board, you're never right. They always win because they don't have to block 2 people, but you have to have a quarterback that can operate the system, know what front you're in, read the right guy, make the proper reads, and then be able to carry the football yourself if that's what happens when you're reading the 3 different things. They've got an experienced quarterback that is really, really good, and then he throws the ball extremely well. If you do a good job against the run, he uses play action pass and throws the ball really well. So they know what they're doing. They've been running the offense forever. The quarterback knows how to operate it, and you can't beat it on the grease board. So what else you want? I mean, if their coach came in here and I were up on that board, they would win every single time.
But your offense keeps winning. Your defense keeps winning against option teams for some reason.
This is the first true wishbone triple option team we've played in since we played them in 2010. People get confused because Air Force lines up the same way sometimes. They do not run the same offense. And the triple option out of the shotgun or the I formation like New Mexico runs, that's completely different too. This is the fullback is going to carry the ball 35 to 40 times. Some of it's going to be triple option when the quarterback is reading it and decides to hand it to him. And some of it's they're just going to come off and hit you in the mouth and hand it to the fullback and say he's going to average 3.5 yards a carry, and we're going to continue to get first down after first down after first down. Your offense is going to sit over there and get bored watching, and we're going to win a very close football game.
So how important is your depth of your front, defensive line and linebackers? I know you had some injuries, but it seems like your second unit has developed over the year. How important are they going to be?
Well, I'm concerned with our depth in the defensive line because Alex Barrett got operated on, so he's not going to play in the game, and you can argue that he's our best defensive lineman. Hopefully Dakota Turner got hurt in practice the other day and has a high ankle sprain, so he's not predicted to even practice for a week to 10 days. I have concern with our depth at defensive line. And the D-line and linebackers are critical to slowing the running game down of any triple option football team.
You mentioned Turner. That was in practice, so I'm in the boot. I know you don't like the guys walking down in the booth, but what exactly happened?
He has a high ankle sprain. So they're going to see, after a week, they're going to see if he can practice, but it's a week to 10 days probably before he can even practice.
So no surgery?
No, just supposedly a high ankle sprain.
Bucky, what kind of turnout do you expect for this thing? I know it was huge 5 years ago, but I wonder if part of that was, hey, it's their first bowl in a long time, and that spurred people to come in. Do you expect something similar?
Well, I don't know what to expect. I'm hoping it's a huge crowd. I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't be. I mean, obviously there's a lot of people in this town associated with the Navy and associated with the military, and it gives them the chance to come support their team, support their country. And then I hope that the San Diego State fans step up and say, well, if they're going to get a big showing, we better get a big showing too, so at least it's equal. And I also think that's a chance for San Diego State fans not only to support us, but to support Navy too. I mean, whenever you play an academy team, you would think there's some pride about that. And in a military town, you would think that there'd be a lot of people buy tickets just to see the game that don't have any real loyalties to either team. So I'm hoping for a big crowd, but I never know what to expect, because sometimes we get bigger crowds. It even happened this year. I walked out there one time and was shocked how many people were there. And then I've walked out there some other times and been very disappointed on how many people were there. So I think the matchup lends itself to having a great crowd, and I hope the community steps up and supports the game like it should be supported.
Rocky, going back to the defense against the triple option, when you talk about the importance of D linemen versus linebackers versus the safeties and DBs, how does that all mix together as far as when you have to stop an option?
This is just my theory of it, okay? Every defensive guy in the world has a different idea on how to try to stop it. I believe in inside out. You cannot let the fullback get going. If the fullback starts going, everything else works. So number one, you have to control the fullback. Does not mean you have to stop him completely, but you have to control him enough so that he doesn't have those times where he pops the line of scrimmage and goes 40 or 50 yards. So you have to make the fullback only get 3 or 3.5 yards a snap. And then the next option of it is the quarterback carrying the ball. He's their leading rusher. He's their best ball carrier. I think you have to keep the option running sideways. And that means you have to try to slow play the quarterback. Don't let him dip up in there and get some yardage, because when he dips up in there and gets yardage, it's usually a big gain. He's their best ball carrier, so you have to make him pitch the ball. And then hopefully you have enough speed on defense that once you make him pitch the ball, the guys can run over there and push the guy out of bounds before he gets a first down. Now that's simplistic, but I think you have to try to make the option run sideways. If the fullback and the quarterback are gashing you up inside It'll be a long, long day, and they'll score to over 40 points like they've been doing the last 4 weeks.
So is that why the linebackers are so important to fill those gaps and then have the?
Well, now you're asking for a more complicated answer. I'll give it to you. The more complicated answer is you cannot give the quarterback the exact same read every time because it's way too easy for him. So there are times that the defensive lineman has to hit the fullback in the mouth, and there are times that the linebacker has to hit the fullback in the mouth. And you got to give him continuously different looks, so every once in a while he hands it to the wrong guy. Or he keeps the ball when he shouldn't, and then you can tackle him behind the line of scrimmage. So now we're getting the more complicated deal. So not only do our players have to be disciplined, they have to be disciplined in 5 or 6 different ways to play the option. They run one option. They've got all the advantages. They execute it every single day for 1,000 days a year because they do it during the off season too. And even though we got a little bit more time to get ready for it, we're only going to have 6 or 7 practices against it, and they've been doing it all year long. But the theory is to keep it running sideways. So you give the fullback, sometimes it's a defensive end that squeezes and takes the fullback. Sometimes it's a linebacker that hits the B gap and hits the fullback. Now, your guys have to be coordinated, and then every once in a while the quarterback will make a mistake, and then you cheer and yell because it's 2nd and 10 instead of 2nd and 6.
Do you, from watching your guys play these pseudo options this year, do you feel like you have the guys this season who are talented enough and quick enough to give you the chance?
Yeah, we're plenty talented enough. It's not a talent issue. That's why the academies run those kinds of offenses, because that kind of offense offsets a lack of size or maybe a lack of ability in certain spots. Because I'm telling you, on the chalkboard or the grease board, they win every single time because they don't have to block 2 guys. So that means they can double team 2 or 3 guys along the way. So schematically, that gives them an advantage. I'm going to guess here. 20 years ago, 50% of the colleges were running that offense. They don't run it now because the fans don't like it. They want to see the ball thrown around, and they want to see big plays, and they want to see athletic guys out-jump athletic guys. Otherwise, every team in the country would be running this offense. Academies don't care because their kids are there for a bigger reason than playing football. So they're worried about competing, being tough, having a chance to win, and developing character. So when they recruit a completely different guy. They don't recruit guys that want to be in the NFL. That's why, in my opinion, Georgia Tech's unbelievable. I don't know where they get all those good guys that are willing to run the wishbone that want to be NFL players. But the academies don't have that problem. Their guys are different guys. They're not there to play in the NFL. And they play normally tougher than you do. They play harder than you do because of the kind of guys they are. And the triple option gives them an ability to beat people with maybe bigger, stronger, faster teams. I mean, I'll show you their game against Notre Dame. They are beating the heck out of Notre Dame. And Notre Dame's as pretty a looking football team as you'll ever see walk on a football field. I mean, their D linemen look 3 times the size as Navy's offensive linemen. But I guess what? They're moving the ball up and down the field on them. Now, they couldn't stop them on defense, but they're moving the ball up and down the field on their offenses. I mean, I love playing academy teams because I have a great appreciation for what kind of kids those are. And I don't mind playing against the triple option because I think that is the biggest challenge I face every year.
Well, and sorry, Steph, but I mean, it's kind of evident, though, in your record too, and you really downplay that, and I understand why. But and you talked about some past bad games. But
See, the other people don't know that. They don't know that one year we stuffed them, and the next year they scored 49 points and set a record for rushing.
But all these years you've been going against your Rocky, I mean, you've obviously figured something out that works pretty well.
I'm not sure that's. we can line up the right way. I mean, you've heard me say this. There are people that don't know how to line up to it. Okay, I'm being as honest as I can be. There are some coaches that don't see it or have never seen it that line up wrong and give triple option teams all kinds of advantages. We will not give them an advantage because we know how to line up to it. It's still down to executing, though. And now we're back to they executed 1,000 days a year. And we're going to execute against it maybe 8 days.
Coach, switching gears a bit, do you have an opinion on the way the playoff worked out, the team that they picked at number 4?
Yeah, I have an opinion, and I stated my opinion last night, and then I thought about it all the way home in the car. And I thought it was the dumbest opinion that anybody ever could say. So I no longer have an opinion. I think the committee did as good a job as they possibly could. They need to go to 8 teams.
What was that opinion?
I'm glad you didn't hear it, because I thought it was really dumb after I said it. So I'm not going to say it again. I mean, I'm not real smart, but I don't try to say 2 dumb things in a row.
Is that a self-assessment, Rocky, or did someone throw the flag on you?
No. On the way home, I'm going, did you really say that? Because it is what I believe, but it makes no sense. Okay, you can believe something that makes no sense. So since it makes no sense, why keep repeating it?
You still believe it?
But I still do believe it. Yes, I still do believe it. But it makes no sense.
Anything else for Coach?
That doesn't make any sense.
Hey, Rocky, I'm sorry, Mike, one more thing. JJ and Jake coming back, kind of figured that Jake was coming back, you know, or mid-season you were kind of on the fence about whether you thought JJ was. What does JJ coming back mean to you?
I mean, both those guys coming back is a big boost to our program. I mean, they're both really good guys, but they're both really good football players with a lot of experience. We just need to get Jake to get through a season without getting hurt, and he'll make a huge difference on our defense. And with JJ coming back, I mean, I think we had the 2 best corners in the league this year. Well, I mean, it's nice to have 2 really good corners coming back, and our 2 backups are pretty good at corner. It just makes you a lot better on defense with those guys coming back.
I think DeMonte took a pretty big step up this year.
I think DeMonte played really well. I mean, some games he played extremely. I mean, other games he struggled a little bit, but when you're a cornerback in this day and age of football, when they don't let you touch anybody, and every time you bump into somebody, it's interference, that's a tough spot to play. And we've got 2 really good ones. So that's, with JJ coming back there, it just makes us stronger next year.
And yesterday was the banquet, the team banquet, I believe. A lot of team
Sunday was a banquet.
Right, and a lot of team awards were announced. Any awards in particular that you're kind of proud of or happy that I received?
No, I mean, you have never been to a banquet, but it's all about the seniors. The individual awards are because those are traditional. If we didn't have to give them, we wouldn't give them. It's all about the seniors in your program, and then I think the most important award is since we let our kids vote for captain, is when you become a captain. That's the team. That's from the team, and that's respect from your teammates. That's as good as it gets.